Thanks for watching. In the past couple of videos you have seen me put together a camera car. So as a base I used my Axial SCX102 version 2, the ready to run. Made this whole bed insert from ABS with my X-Carve with my CNC machine. Mounted this 3-axis gimbal by FeiyuTech on top. Still need to wire everything up, but for now it's coming together nicely. Today's episode is going to be about paint. I know that a lot of people think that I don't paint anymore, but I do. I paint a whole lot, in fact, or I have a whole lot planned. I needed to stock up on paint. Sometimes it takes me a tiny bit to get some supplies in. Not a big deal, I think. So, this body is already completely masked up. This has actually been sitting like this for ages, because I had this body originally for my SCX10 version 1. Turns out it actually fits on the ready-to-run version of the SCX10 version 2. I printed some logos. As always, I flipped them. Let's see if I can find one to show you. There you go. So this says HemiStorm, flipped it horizontally. That way when I stick it to the outside of the body, I can see through the inside of the body, because that's where you're going to paint. And you can trace everything with your blade and cut it. I use this really cheap scalpel. So this comes from like a $5 store or God knows what. These blades are not expensive either. Do make sure that you change them out regularly, just to ensure that you have some sharp cuts going on. So there's a HemiStorm logo on the top. Then I got some Castle censored logo going on the hood. Got a Proline logo going on in the bottom of the door, just to make sure that people know what I'm actually running. So this is a Proline shell. The rear fenders also come from a Proline body. These actually come from a body that was intended for the Traxxas Slash. Well, then the frame, of course, the chassis is Axial, so I also want to put some Axial logos on those rear fenders. Just so I don't have to answer a whole lot of questions in case I do meet people out on the trails and they go like, what are you running? On the hood I put an American flag. In 2 weeks I will be going to, I'm not sure how long after I release this video, could be that it's then only a week. But I will be at Ultimate Scale Truck Expo in Florida. It's going to be a lot of fun. They got like 1,000 or 1,300 gates. I'm not sure. Lots of vendors, lots of cool people. And maybe I will see some of you guys over there as well. So, American flag on the front. This is like a bit of a Hoonigan inspired flag. So if you do know the Hoonigan Ford Escort or their Hoonicorn, those also have that same American flag going on. So I wanted to put that on the front because this is a Ford truck. I can actually get away with that. On the sides, so on either side, I got like a Puerto Rican flag going on. The week after going to USTE in Florida, I'll be in Puerto Rico, and they also are organizing this crawler event. I believe it's called the Internazionale. I'm pretty sure I'm butchering that completely. So I'm going over there to brush up some of my Spanish drink beer and get a freaking tan. This is going to be a really simple paint scheme. Most of it is going to be black. So all the main body areas are going to be black. Well, of course going to use some champagne anodized aluminum, just because that's my favorite color. I'm also going to use a tiny bit of chrome, and then of course in the flags I'm going to use red, white and blue, but then in a different order. I'm actually going to paint it on, I think, blue, red and then white, just to make sure that everything stays as clear as possible. I'm not going to use any stickers for the front either, so I cut out the entire grille, and I think most of this video is going to be me going through the paint scheme. I will of course film every step of the way, as I always do, and if anything is unclear at any time, feel free to shoot me a message, because I will be more than happy to answer your questions. To me, painting has become such a routine that sometimes I just skip ahead way too much. And I can imagine if you're completely new that you have a ton of questions. I can answer absolutely all of them. Just for some people who have been following the channel for like a longer time, I don't want to explain it completely from the base every time. So make sure that your shell is completely clean before you start. Cut from the inside, put your designs on the outside, and most importantly, take your time. You always paint darkest color first, and then go to the lightest color in the very end. and you know, you can use all the time you need, and it's all a matter of just getting creative and having a good time, because to me this is one of the most fun parts of the hobby, is actually the whole painting process. Okay, well, enough yip yap. I'm going to start peeling and going to lay some colors on this one. So far so good. I got all my champagne aluminum on, I got all of my chrome on, all of my black on, and those were also, I think, the most difficult steps when it comes to peeling. Right now all I have left to do is the red, white and blue. I'm going to paint it up in blue, red and white. When I'm done painting the blue, I'm going to back that with a tiny bit of white, just to avoid you seeing some of the red coming through, because then you will end up with a shade of purple and that's going to look but ugly. So that's just to sort of seal it and protect it from that coat of red that I need to put in all those stripes, in those flags. After that I'm going to cut some of the overspray film on the outside. Give most of the car, I think, a coat of flat clear, just to avoid any glare from the sun. I'm counting on a lot of sun in both Florida and Puerto Rico. So I'm thinking that if the sun is going to hit the roof of the car, for example, or one of those fenders, that may kind of affect my filming, and I don't want that to happen, of course. So the entire car is going to be more or less flat black. Anyway, let's paint some more. that's that, it's all done. This was not a lot of work. Most work is putting on those chrome details, putting on that champagne aluminum, and then taking it from there basically. The flags are absolutely not a lot of work and a whole lot of fun. You can almost consider this an episode of Fun with Flags with Sheldon Cooper, because I mean this is my geekiest project so far. Still have a bit of work to do. I did install those Proline body post mount thingies, so those screw caps, just because they eliminate any type of jitter that I got going on the body posts. I installed the rear tailgate because I needed to narrow that one down a tiny bit with some servo tape. Seems to be holding up okay. I still have two tail lights that I need to put somewhere. Perhaps you have an idea. Let me know in the comments box and I will check that out. And I want to put an interior in here. Now I'm thinking that I'm going to use a Proline Jeep Cherokee interior, or at least half of it, to fill in the gap that I have going on over here, just so there's a tiny bit more going on. That last step, the flat clear, you don't have to put it absolutely everywhere. I know that this car is almost completely flat, but that's also to take away that glare, potentially from the GoPro lens. Where I did not flat clear it is, for example, this chrome trim going around the front and then continuing up into the grille. So I left that completely covered while I was coating the rest with the flat clear. Also the windows, goes without saying, because that would look butt ugly if you would flat clear that. Still have a tiny bit to do, but overall I think it's coming along nicely. I still need to wire up this FeiyuTech gimbal. I will do all of that in the next video, and I hope to see you there as well. If you want to sort of tag along with what I'm doing, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell thingy that you need to hit these days to actually get some notifications in your email for when I upload a new video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the box below. In the video description you will see a link to the event in Florida, so to Ultimate Scale Truck Expo. And I will also put a link there to the event in Puerto Rico. That's going to be a lot of fun. Also the first big event, or the first really massive event in Puerto Rico. There's going to be people from Costa Rica there, from the United States and from Puerto Rico. So very much international, and I don't know, it's going to be, I think, an amazing event in the jungle, and it's going to be great. So check those links out. Also links to, for example, the Proline front cap, the Slash body that I used. Perhaps I'll even throw a link in there to the bumpers and to the wheels and tires, so you can check those out as well. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.
We're back on.